Hello, this is Mish from Downtime Distractions with a first look review of Micro Machines, Tabletop Racing Tour. So with all our first look reviews, please check the description below for specific details on the difference between our full review versus our first look review. So what is this game? Well, Tabletop Racing Tour is a car racing game with power-up combat, and it's in tiny cars. So a real homage to the Micro Machine series from a few years ago. So this is developed and published by Playrise Digital Limited. Previous titles from these developers were Tabletop Racing, but on iOS devices and Androids and PS Vita. So these devs have been kind enough to give me a key, so thanks for that. So this title was coming out on the 26th of May, and it is coming out at a price of $19.99, but it has a 15% discount on. And this also has Day 1 DLC, and it's coming out for $5.99, but that also has a 15% discount. So this has a single player, multiplayer, and has full controller support, and it's also coming out onto the PS4 if you're interested in that. So we have a few different types of races. So we have a combat race, which is just a normal winner, but you can also use weapons in it. And then we have a very similar type, but just without weapons, so they call it a pure race. You have a hot lap, which is getting the best time by yourself. You also have a time trial, which is getting the best time over a few laps by yourself. You also have pursuit, which is trying to catch someone a little bit ahead of you. And you have drift and elimination as well. So let me just jump into the game, and I'll just show you through the menu system all the content that we have available to us. So these are the championships that we have. So we have the amateur, the pro, and the expert. So let's go into the amateur one. So as you can see, we have two championships in that class, in that category. So let's go into one here. So you see we have to go through all these races to be able to unlock the final event. And that event in this one has 3 races in it. So what do we have here? 9 events in this championship. And go back. So then in this one, you have a little bit more, and you're getting more as it goes on as well. So this one I think has 3 again, so you're up to 11. So just trying to give you an idea on the amount of content that's in here. So for this twin cam challenge, as we just saw, so we have 11 events in there. So on the spark plug we have 9, so 20 in this championship, and it does get more as you go on. So there are more events in these other ones. So that's just to give you an idea of how much is in there. And on top of the championships, we also have special events. So that we have the same categories, amateur, pro, expert, and here we just have, I guess, more specific little events to do. So for this one, you have to use that bug rat car, and you can have any wheel and any XP, it doesn't matter. And it's a combat match. I mean, in essence, they're very similar to the championship events, but you got a bit more stuff in here. You got more drifting and specific kind of lockdowns when you get further into it. So you got to use a specific car. And as you go on, you're going to need to do specific wheels and stuff like that. So just a bit of a spin on the normal races in here. And let's have a look at the garage as well. Okay, so these once again the 3 different classes, and these are the cars that we have. So I've unlocked all of these. So let's go into this one, as I found this one was probably the most fun. So I've chosen it and then go into upgrades. So as you can see, you have a whole bunch of passive stuff. So this is fully upgraded. You're using the in-game currency for that. So you can upgrade speed, acceleration, handling, and armor. But this stuff here is probably the most interesting. So you have a wheel shop, so you can change the wheels. There's a very standard one. There's this one here, which is for drifting. This one here, which is to earn more credits. This one is to a shield to stop incoming weapons. This one has spikes on it. Looks pretty cool. This one gives you a bounce, and this one disarms weapons. So good spin on stuff here, and just a nice little variation on these vehicles. And you have different colors as well, which is always nice. A bit of modifications there. Now all the stuff from the garage is purchased with in-game currency. So you get the currency by winning races, doing combos on your enemies with the power-ups, and also getting the secret coins. So each map has 3 bronze coins, 2 silver and 1 gold. And it adds a bit of content trying to find those, because a lot of them are quite tricky. The bronze ones are generally quite easy to get, and the silver ones I've got a few, but I don't think I've even seen a gold one, and you need to do specific, go to a specific hidden area to find them. So that adds a little content. The completionist will like that type of thing. So the multiplayer modes. So we have up to 8 people online racing. And with that you can choose a variety of different tracks to use, the different routes, multiple laps. You get car types, so you can lock it down to classic or pro or expert, and you can choose to use the power-ups or not, and also the same for the wheel power-ups. So a good amount of variation, and hopefully that spurs on people to play it, because I had a good go and I did enjoy the multiplayer component online. Let's just have a quick look at the options menu, see what we have in there, then we'll move on to a summary of the game. Now before we get started, I want to put a bit of a note here. In its current state, this game does not support wireless Xbox controllers, but it was very promising to see that in the forums the devs responded immediately saying they're going to look at this. So hopefully that will come out soon, but if you've only got a wireless controller, you might want to double think purchasing this just yet. It works perfectly fine on my wired Xbox controller, but just double check, see if it's now enabled after this point. So what we have here, credits, trophies, I'm not really going to go into that, but controller configuration. So you can swap between different configurations, those 2 that we have here. So if you want to rebind the keys, it's not possible, but you have 2 different configurations. And keyboards, let's have a look here. And yes we can rebind, by the look of it, most stuff in here, which is very good. And graphics, not a lot of stuff in here. A couple of graphics quality options, anti-aliasing on or off. Bit of shading down there, particle stuff, but not a lot. Display, we have a bit more stuff, so you can be full screen or not. Resolution, which is obviously necessity. VSync. And a little, not a bad amount, but it could be a lot more. People like a lot more options in here, and it doesn't have it. So an average amount of stuff, you could say. Music volume, which is there, which is good to see them separate those 2, music for sound effects. But you could have a bit more as well, because I turn the music down, and there's still a whole bunch of ambient noise in the background, and not just the car. So it's good to have another slider in there for that. And you can reset the game. Okay, so I'm going to quickly move on to, I guess, a bit of a summary. So I'll start with graphics as I normally do. Not bad visually, I quite like it. I feel it's a real homage to the Micro Machine games. And visually, it's a high standard as well. I'm not going to say it's AAA, but it's got a nice look, it's got good textures, and yeah, generally a pretty good graphic in the graphics department. Audio is not as good. I mean, there's not a bad soundtrack if you like that type of music. There's a few different variations in there. So the tracks, you get 20 exclusive tracks by breakbeat producer Wes Smith, if you know who that is. And the ambient noises are alright as well. The power-up noise is okay, but just the sounds of the cars. I know, it's tiny cars, it's little micro cars, but they could have added awesome sounds to them. I don't know why you wouldn't. They'll kind of just sound like vacuums buzzing around the track, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's just something that I noted that I always appreciate when a car sounds really powerful, and it doesn't have that. And let's move on to the gameplay. The cars feel pretty good. I quite like the feel of the cars. Very arcadey, very easy to handle, and drifting's a lot of fun. Some major down points that I have noticed though, I feel for the price there's a bit of a paucity of content. I spent nearly 3 hours in the game, and I've gotten halfway through the tournaments and collected quite a few coins. And I think, let's be generous and say 8 hours worth of content here. Of course you have the multiplayer mode as well, which is, it's pretty fun, and the game is generally fun as well. But probably my main gripe point would be, why would you release day one content that splits your online community immediately? I think my jaw dropped and smacked on my desk when I saw that, because I hosted a game and saw host with the current content or host with the DLC content. Splitting the community on day one, you've just hamstrung the longevity of this title. You really have. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not good and you don't want to get it for the original content, but it's a silly move in my opinion. But still, as I said, very fun little arcadey game. I felt a lot of nostalgia when I played this to the old Micro Machines. Bit of a steep price, but overall quite fun. So I hope this has been informative for you guys, and I hope you figured out whether to purchase or not, and I'll leave it here. So this is Mesh, and this has been Tabletop Racing World Tour, and please subscribe if you like this content, as we often do these videos. Thumbs up if you liked it, and leave me some feedback below, and I'll see you next time.